We're back at the Penn House for our championship match, Riga Kalfas against Glen Meece. Glen, our three-time king, and he's going to start things off for us. These two gentlemen met in a match, a championship match, a couple weeks back, and it was a good one. He opens with a strike. Glen Meece got a little bit of a break on that one, I think.
I'm not sure what I'm being noticeably quiet after that shot, George. I mean, throws a great shot. You're looking at the 7-10. Now you see it, now you don't. I don't know if that's a break or what, just a delayed great shot. Not sure.
Here's Riga Kalfas up in the first on the right-hand lane.
Interesting ball change back again. Why in the world would he do that? Obviously in shadow balls he felt he could work with that ball. That's obviously the ball he wants to use. And Jen, have you ever tried to use a ball that you know is not the right ball?
Absolutely. I think we all have.
We've all done it.
He gave it a ride, but
the 4-6, we talk about it being virtually impossible, George, and that's because the pins are perfectly in line with one another, and typically when you got an object going down and hitting something, it's going to throw it back a little bit. So you almost have to just touch it and lay it over rather than to hit it and then get a real break.
Or hopes it bounces out of the pit.
Bounces out of the pit, that's right.
Which doesn't happen too often.
Not too often is right, especially with guys that are smaller of stature, let's say. Nothing small in stature about that shot, however. Great shot on the left lane. Riga Kalfas just nails him.
He was using the same ball he used in frame number 1, so I guess come what may, he's going to use that ball.
He's going to. Glen Meece, lane 10, started with a strike. A delayed 7-10 blowout. Getting the ball out in the lane. Oh, wow.
He'll take it.
Thank you, he says. What a horrible shot. Jeez. Not used to seeing that out of the kind of bowlers that we have on our telecast, but they are human. Everybody makes mistakes, and if you're going to do one, do it right.
It's tough for me to say a horrible shot, though, when they all go down. I mean, I don't care what it looks like. I know you're the connoisseur of bowling here,
that's
but...
Right. Connoisseur, that's right, that's me. I mean, I'll take them too, George, but you're not real happy about it when you do that many things wrong. Of course, when you follow it up with that, doing that many things right.
It starts out with a 3-bagger.
Glen Meece, left-hand lane, just absolutely twirls it up. Watch this. Maximum torque, maximum revs, out to about the 8th board, and just stuffs it back. 10 in the pit. Every pin doing its job. Riga, back to you, huh?
He's working on a strike here in the 3rd.
Looks good. Looks very good. Take a look at Riga's great shot. Let's see it one more time. Absolutely perfect. Right out over the 4th, maybe the 5th board. Comes in, 1-2 pocket filled up. 10 in a pit. Riga is right back in it. He is not intimidated. I don't think you can intimidate Riga.
Not when you throw a shot like that. You can catch his act in the leagues out at LaRue lanes, Princeton lanes, Fairfield lanes. All
just about all over.
Yep.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness.
I laughed, but it wasn't very funny. That's
absolutely tough break, Jen. I'm not going to laugh either because this is something to cry about. A stone 9. Watch the ball cut through and then break sharply to the left, just missing that 9-pin. Every pin was not doing its job, and the culprit was the 5-pin that time.
Well, let's fire that guy, huh?
He's out of here.
I understand that down in Indiana we have a faithful couple that watches us every week, Mr. and Mrs. Arch Castletine. We thank you for watching.
We certainly do. Hope they're enjoying today's show. Hope they have a happy St. Patty's Day this week, too.
One of the many thousands of faithful viewers that we have, Jen, 27 years here in Greater Cincinnati. We're here because you are there watching, and we thank you for that. Keep tuning us in each and every week. And keep in mind, any reproduction of this telecast is encouraged, I think.
Yes, that's correct. Glenn looking for the 4-bagger.
That's why he's the king. Start out with 4 in a row. It's a little tough to get rattled. We watched him a couple of weeks ago, however, start out with 2 great shots. His opponent at that point, Mr. Hensley, opened, spare, opened, and you could see the mental letdown in Glenn. He's been working on not letting down, throwing each and every frame as if it were the last frame, George, and he needed it, and it looks like it's paying off.
Yeah, he looks as intense today in the early going as any time we've seen him this year. And he's certainly been intense throughout his reign as the king, but really focused today.
And Glenn, of course, bowls out of Delfair Lanes and Delhi.
How about 5 in a row?
He is pumped.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, let's take a look at it. The ball is going to do all of his talking for him. Take a look. Kaboom, rip the bottom out of it. Doesn't get it as wide as he wants, but does he like it? How can you not like stuffing him in the hole there, huh? Ooh. 5 shots, 5 perfect deliveries.
Not all perfect now.
Perfect as we look at them now, right? Huh?
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
George was talking about.
Exactly. You look back and see the X's. Who cares what they look like at the time?
And
you know,
it's so important when you do have an errant shot like that, just to forget about it and go back to what you were doing that worked the correct way.
they're all line
Capitalize.
drives in the box score. Riga Kalfas just holds the spare here in the 5th.
Cuts through. You can see him walking back a little bit with his head down, and that's not a good sign, and neither is this. Score sheet's going to show you that Riga is trailing by, why don't we try 43 pins at this point, and could be even more. But 43 pins with half the sheet left to go. Riga's not going to give up, but just by watching his gait coming back, he is not encouraged by what he sees.
That should help a little bit.
And he's not going to roll over and die. Let's take a look at him. Let's take a look at his reaction on a split screen one time. Guys in the truck are doing a good job, of course, as usual. Great, great shot. Nice mixing ball. Riga, what do you think? What do you think? Come on, Riga.
Still thinking
I wonder if
about
he
it.
was looking at the same shot we were. Yeah.
I think Mr. Roy Alfreds is throwing in us
Yeah.
some different shots to mix together.
Roy on the truck. Jesse, we got our crack crew here as usual. And what the? Riga's still sitting. He's still wondering about it. As we watch Mr. Meece re-rack, which you are allowed to do if you see something down there that isn't quite right.
We've seen him do that a time or two since he's been on our show.
Yep. Actually pulled up on the shot just a little bit. Cuts through a little sharply and leaves the 4-pin. His string comes to an end after 5. But he can still, with a spare here, he can maintain a 43-pin lead. But Riga has a strike working and could cut that to 33 immediately. Glenn, a very good spare shooter.
Had no trouble there.
George, both players are about as well-rounded as you would want them to be. They're both very disciplined on their first shots, and they follow through and make sure that they cover their spares, and they work very hard throughout the match, and that's very important.
They were both products of the junior leagues, and I think it's very important when you have young people starting out bowling that you capitalize on the point that spares are so important.
It's a good point, Jan. And around town in all of our BPA houses, the junior program has been responsible for producing people like Glen Meece, Riga Kalfas, and some players that you've seen on the show before and in the in the future. Now here, Glen Meece just throws this ball perfect. Come on, baby. Head pin to the wall. That's the head pin coming across, and as Stevie Wonder Scout, as we call it, could not find his... All right, who's the wise guy, right?
There you go.
Here we got Riga Kalfas on the right-hand lane. Knows he can get back in the match here if he starts Xing, George.
Well, he's got one up in the fifth, or the sixth, rather, and certainly gives him a little bit of hope to build on.
Still can go out for 247, I believe.
God, what a great game that would be, and what a comeback. And really put the pressure on Glen Meece.
He needs to get it started right here in the seventh.
Taking just a little bit of extra time. I think he knows that this is a big shot, and boy, does he throw a great shot. Oh. Incredible. Incredible. Look at the head now. Taking the gas right out of him. Watch it here, folks. He's got to throw a great shot, does he? You bet he does. He puts his whole heart and soul and body into it. 4 pins. Second one from the left-hand side of your screen, right there, going to the wall. Does not get the 7. Tough break for Riga.
As you said, you could see it just take the wind right out of his sails immediately.
It's a tough thing to do, George, and Jen, you've been there 100 times. When you have to throw a good shot, and you do your job and put the ball where it belongs, and then you have to shoot it again. Look at, okay, what are we going to do now? It really does. It takes it out of you. It takes the fight out of you.
He now trails by 41 pins, and there isn't a lot of time left.
That sort of makes that 7 pin look even bigger in the middle of 2 strikes.
You bet it does, and it looked like he went with a more of an outside shot, a little bit more speed to hold the line, looking for the kick. Look at him trying to figure out here. Let's see his reaction. Yeah.
Glen Meece now up in the 8th. He can go all the way for a 268.
268 would be enough to win. Wouldn't be enough to take home the $15,000, but it would earn him the right to come back again next week. The mixing ball that has gotten him to this point so far is still with him. Glen Meece, as we look to the scoreboard, let's see if we can figure out where we're at here. Riga knows where he's at. He's 41 pins behind, both players with a strike in the 8th and only 2 frames to go. George, Riga has to look to Glen Meece to win this match for him, because he cannot win it without Glen Meece's help. This shot here, any kind of a mark, and it's all over. Don't go to the fridge yet.
Boy, oh boy.
This is a very, very difficult split.
Going wide, leaving the 2-8-10. Tough one, but Glen should take the 2 and the 8 straight back. Go for the pin count. He wisely does. Going to make his competitor strike out to win the match. Riga, if he takes it to the wall, 227 is his possibility. Glen would have to double in the 10th frame to go for 230. So this ball, the one you're about to watch, is going to sum it all up. He must strike, and he's making the ball change back.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's picked up the plastic one again.
It's a thinking man's game, George. I mean, you've always got to be looking forward as to what you're going to do and hopefully be able to predict the reaction. And this is a critical shot. He must strike on this ball. Let's watch. Throws a great shot. Absolutely perfect. What's going to happen to Riga? He's going to leave a 6 pin. Watch it here one more time. The tape tells the tale. 6 pin. Riga with a spare here. The best he can cover now is 207. Glen Meece has 206 without throwing a ball. For all intensive purposes, this match is over, and Glen Meece will be our champion for the 4th week in a row.
And I believe before his first week, he had never been on TV before. Am I not right?
That's exactly right, Jenny. He came out of the junior programs last year, and at 19 years old, we We're looking at a prodigy of the junior program, and the junior program, and all those instructors around town have got a lot to be proud of by what they're producing.
He has a very great accomplishment in having the high state average for juniors. I believe that was in '87. He averaged like 217 all over the whole state. Terrific.
Terrific accomplishment. He just recently won the USA team spot in the city tournament held out at Kingpin about a month and a half ago. He shot about 200 over, I think, in that particular tournament. He's got 4 300s to his credit, 1 800, and he was telling me he's got 5 series of 780 or better.
Wow.
To his
Oh,
credit.
my word.
So the guy throws a lot of ball.
Riga closes out with a 197, and Dave, as you said, Glen Meece sitting back on a 206 already, so.
Glenn was telling me he loves the cameras. He loves to be able to do what he can do so well in front of a lot of people that appreciate him. There's that smile. And that's throw the big ball and watch him run.
4-time king now, so he's getting a lot of experience at bowling in front of the cameras and in front of the people.
Pardon me, to the left of Glenn was Mr. Tony Plank, who's here handing out free little kings or any heated pull product of your choice today.
All right, Tony.
Tony, come over here a minute.
Gotta like that. That's right.
I want to talk to you. He can have fun now. The grimace and the scowls that you see during the match go away as soon as victory is in hand. And Glen Meece, our king for week number 4. There's some camaraderie for you. Glen Meece being congratulated by Riga Kalfas. 225 victory, week number 4. Don't go away. We're going to give away some money. We'll be right back.